We've all been there. You finally convince your friends to buy a multiplayer game, and after one session, it gets completely abandoned, leaving you to deal with the passive-aggressive, "Bro, why'd you make us buy this?" comments for the next month. Not this time. These are not games you'll play once and regret. These are games that'll keep you and your friends coming back for more, whether it's for the chaotic laughs, the intense teamwork, or the sheer addiction of one more round. So if you're tired of wasting money on multiplayer duds and want games that actually deliver long-term fun, keep watching, because these are the 14 multiplayer games you and your friends won't regret buying. Deep Rock Galactic is what happens when you mix space exploration, badass dwarves, and an ungodly number of alien bugs trying to rip you apart. You and your crew of beer-loving, bearded space miners get dropped into randomly generated caves filled with precious minerals, and more importantly, things that want you dead. At first, it's all calm. You drill through rock, collect some gold, and maybe share a drink at the in-game bar. Yes, there's an actual bar with drinkable beer. But then, the swarm hits. Panic sets in. Your scout's somewhere deep in the tunnels, lost and screaming. Your engineer's setting up sentries like his life depends on it. Because it does. The driller is frantically trying to make a shortcut to the exit. And the gunner's out of ammo. No game makes you feel like a true team quite like this one. Everyone has their role. And if someone screws up, you all suffer. But when you successfully extract with all your loot after an intense mission, nothing beats that victory high. It's a game that constantly forces you to think on your feet, communicate, and embrace the chaos. And if that's not enough, just remember the golden rule. Rock and stone, brother. Horror games are great, but horror games with your friends screaming in terror, even better. That's exactly what makes Lethal Company such a beautiful mess. You and your crew are employees of a mysterious, shady company that sends people to abandoned industrial sites to collect scrap. Sounds simple, right? Nope. Because these facilities are haunted. The first 10 minutes are fine. You wander in, grabbing random objects and tossing them into your loot pile. Then someone hears a noise. Maybe it's a door creaking open by itself. Maybe it's footsteps when no one's moving. Maybe, just maybe, it's your friend locking you in a dark room as a joke. Except a joke turns into a blood-curdling scream when something actually starts chasing them. The best, or worst part, the monsters are randomized, meaning every session feels different. Some of them stalk you silently until it's too late. Others feed off your fear, attracting the most terrified players first. And sometimes, the biggest threat isn't even the monsters. It's your own friends panicking and getting everyone killed. There's something magical about barely making it back to the escape ship, screaming at your friends to just get in already before slamming the door shut. And when the paychecks roll in after a successful run, you instantly forget about the trauma and go right back in. If horror isn't your thing, how about frustration? Because Unrailed is a game that takes friendship and stress tests it to the max. You and your crew are in charge of building train tracks before your train derails and crashes into certain doom. Sounds easy enough, right? Wrong, because nothing in this game is calm. The train is constantly moving, meaning you don't have time to sit and plan anything. You need wood for tracks, stone for reinforcement, water to stop the train from catching fire, and all this has to be done while dodging environmental hazards like wild animals, giant cliffs, and your own incompetence. It's the kind of game where one mistake snowballs into complete disaster. It's basically Overcooked, but for trains. And just like Overcooked, expect lots of panic yelling, accidental betrayals, and blame shifting. It's chaos. It's infuriating. It's stupidly fun. And if you're the type who loves overcoming challenges with teamwork, it's easily one of the most rewarding co-op experiences out there.
Don't worry, I will get...
If you prefer a little bit of strategy with your action, then Hunt Showdown might just be your next addiction. This is a PvPvE game, meaning not only are you fighting monsters, but you're also competing against other players who want the same bounties as you. And trust me, them other players, they're ruthless. The game throws you into the swamps of Louisiana, armed with old-school weapons like bolt-action rifles, revolvers, and crossbows. You and your team have to track down massive, horrifying monsters, kill them, collect the bounty, and make it out alive. Sounds simple? It never is, because the moment you start making noise, everyone on the map knows where you are. 1 second, you're feeling like a badass cowboy, casually taking down zombie-like creatures. The next, you're getting sniped from the bushes by another team who were waiting for you to do the hard work so they could steal your bounty. Every encounter is a heart-pounding, high-stakes fight where one wrong move means death. And unlike traditional shooters, ammo is scarce, health doesn't regenerate, and combat is brutal. It's a game that rewards stealth, patience, and smart decision-making. And when you and your squad actually pull off a clean escape with a bounty, it feels like you just pulled off a successful heist. Now, if you prefer more controlled strategy, then We Were Here Together is a game that'll put your communication skills to the test. This isn't your typical multiplayer game where you can just run around and shoot stuff. This is a co-op puzzle escape room where you and your partner have to solve intricate puzzles by talking to each other. The catch? You're not always in the same room. One player might have information the other needs, meaning you have to describe what you see, listen carefully, and try to solve puzzles without actually seeing what your friend sees. And let's be honest, that's where the chaos begins. It's frustrating, hilarious, and when you actually figure something out together, it's so satisfying. This is the perfect game for anyone who loves escape rooms, cryptic puzzles, and yelling at their friends in the most loving way possible. There's something inherently hilarious about trying to run a restaurant with friends. PlateUp throws you into that madness, turning a simple idea, cooking food and serving customers, into an absolute nightmare of multitasking, miscommunication, and kitchen fires. At first, everything's under control. The orders are coming in at a manageable pace, the kitchen setup is working smoothly, and there's a small sense of pride in keeping the restaurant running. Then, as more customers flood in, everything starts to fall apart. Someone realizes there aren't enough clean plates, so now there's a backup at the sink. Another person forgets to chop ingredients, causing a delay in orders. The guy in charge of taking food to customers is running in circles, panicking because he keeps bumping into furniture. And in the middle of it all, someone overcooks something and sets the entire kitchen on fire. What makes PlateUp different from other cooking games is that it's not just about serving one shift. It's about building a long-term strategy. As the game progresses, you can expand your restaurant, automate certain tasks, and even specialize your kitchen to make things more efficient. But no matter how well you plan, something will always go wrong. There'll always be that one moment of chaos that spirals out of control. And when it happens, you'll be screaming, laughing, and blaming each other in the most entertaining way possible. Where PlateUp is all about fast-paced teamwork, fights in tight spaces, multiplayer mod is a completely different kind of multiplayer experience. One that forces you to slow down, think ahead, and outsmart your opponent in a beautifully choreographed action sequence. Instead of button mashing your way through a fight, you're strategizing every single move, carefully placing your character in the perfect position to counter, evade, or land a devastating attack. There's something incredibly satisfying about setting up a perfect chain of moves, dodging a punch, using the momentum to launch your opponent into a wall, then following up with a brutal kick that knocks them out cold. It feels cinematic, like you're directing your own fight scene. But at the same time, it's a deeply tactical game that punishes careless mistakes and rewards careful planning. Multiplayer battles in this game become intense mental duels, where every card played is a decision that could turn the fight in an instant. Sometimes, the best strategy is to corner your opponent, forcing them into a disadvantageous position where they have no good moves left. Other times, you have to play defensively, waiting for the right moment to strike. It's not about who reacts faster, it's about who thinks ahead. While tight one-on-one fights demand focus and quick thinking, Starbound offers a completely different type of multiplayer experience. One that's all about freedom, exploration, and creating your own adventure. From the moment you crash land on a mysterious planet, there's an overwhelming sense that the universe is yours to shape. Survival is the first challenge. Gathering resources, building a shelter, and making sure you don't get wiped out by hostile alien wildlife is just the beginning. But as you progress, the game opens up in incredible ways. The beauty of Starbound's multiplayer experience is how different every playthrough can be. Some groups might focus on building, turning a simple starting outpost into a sprawling multi-level base filled with technology and defenses. Others might set out as space explorers, hopping from planet to planet, uncovering ancient alien ruins and battling intergalactic enemies. Some might even turn to piracy, raiding other settlements, stealing supplies, and causing as much destruction as possible. There's no single way to play Starbound, and that's what makes it so perfect for multiplayer. It's not about following a strict path. It's about deciding what kind of adventure you and your friends want to have. Whether you're working together to create something great or just wreaking havoc across the galaxy, every session feels different. On the complete opposite end of the spectrum, Midnight Ghost Hunt takes the concept of hide and seek and turns it into pure multiplayer madness. In this game, one team plays as ghost hunters, armed with specialized equipment, tracking down and eliminating ghosts hiding inside a massive haunted building. The other team plays as the ghosts. And these aren't just invisible floating spirits. Ghosts in Midnight Ghost Hunt can possess objects. So instead of simply running and hiding, you turn into a chair, a lamp, or even a suit of armor, blending into the environment while the hunters frantically search for you. And when the hunters get too close, you can literally throw objects at them, poltergeist style, creating chaos and buying yourself more time. But here's the real kicker. If the ghosts survive until midnight, the tables turn. Once the clock strikes 12, the ghosts become supercharged, and suddenly the hunters become the hunted. The same people who were confidently tracking ghosts 5 minutes ago, now they're screaming in terror as spectral horrors chase them down. The shift from tense hunting to full-blown panic is what makes this game so fun. Every round plays out differently. Sometimes the hunters win. Sometimes the ghosts pull off the perfect ambush. But no matter how it goes, every match ends in complete chaos. For those who love the Backrooms horror mythos, Escape the Backrooms delivers an unsettling multiplayer experience like no other. The premise is simple. You and your friends have clipped out a reality, waking up in an endless maze of dull, yellow-lit hallways. There's no clear exit, no obvious path forward, just the oppressive silence, the buzzing of fluorescent lights, and the constant nagging feeling that something's in here with you. And that feeling is 100% correct. Each level is randomly generated, meaning you never know what horrors you'll face. Sometimes the monster is a faceless humanoid stalking the halls. Sometimes it's something worse. The tension comes from never knowing when or where danger will strike. But the scariest part? Some of these creatures react to sound. If you speak too loudly, they'll hear you. If you run carelessly, you might be leading them straight to your team. The sense of helplessness is overwhelming, and when someone gets caught, their terrified screams make the experience even more immersive. The only way to survive is to work together, solve cryptic puzzles, and stay calm under pressure. But in a game where panic equals death, staying calm is easier said than done. And there you have it. 14 multiplayer games that you and your friends won't regret buying. No one's gonna roast you for wasting their money this time, because these games aren't just one and done experiences. They're the kind you keep coming back to, whether it's for the chaos, the teamwork, or just the sheer fun of messing with your friends. If any of these caught your eye, you can find links to all the games in the description. Now, go convince your friends to buy them, and maybe don't wait until they're on sale. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.